John, we've got the protesters going by, and we've got John Weston from Conservatively Speaking, my colleague at WCRN. John, I noticed there's some stringy stuff on the ground, and there's a lot of police here. What's going on?
Well, let me tell you what's going on. Just as the rally got underway, the group of these young people came down over the hill, which is up that way. Of course, telling you right and left doesn't work, but they basically came down the hill and they got on the traffic island, and they started screaming, yelling, trying to incite the people on this side of the street to engage them and get into some problems, and obviously create a disturbance. It didn't work, but what they then started to do was spray silly string at people. And when cars were coming by supporting the people who were on this side of the street, you know, basically the Tea Party and all other Republican candidates, they started actually putting the cans of silly string in the car and spraying people.
So they were spraying people actually in the car as they're driving?
Yes, there was a gentleman who I would guess to be in his late 60s in a Chevy pickup truck that had a 4x8 sign on the back of his pickup that said he's mad as hell, he's not going to take it anymore. And they actually went in his truck, right in his face, and sprayed it to the point he had to stop and wipe it off his face so he could see. That is actually when I called, that's when myself and several others called the Worcester police. They had to come down. They made them disperse. They keep going up the hill to regroup. They keep coming down, and every time they come down, they get out in the street and mess traffic up. And of course, they're trying to blame the Tea Party when it's really them.
Now, the media seems to have been giving them an inordinate amount of attention. Do you think that's just the idea?
Well, I'm sure that's part of it. You know, the interesting thing that I saw was with a couple older people that came down the hill with them, which I find that kind of odd. In fact, they're still standing over there. If you can catch that corner over there.
Okay, let's zoom in over there.
Yes,
those are the people you're talking about?
Yes, that's the people right there. They actually came down the hill carrying McGovern signs, and then when they got down here to the corner, they hid the McGovern signs and pulled out the other signs with the other group.
So were they holding the McGovern signs during the assault?
No. They actually got here after that happened, but they came down and kind of held back a little bit. I noticed them off in the corner.
Because they didn't want to be associated?
Like they didn't want to be associated. But when this crowd was getting pretty rowdy, they were standing on the front of the traffic island.
Now, most of them look like college kids. Now, do you think that might be something organized by the schools or some of the teachers?
Well, I don't know, but I guarantee it wasn't organized by Price Chopper, and I know that they have a Price Chopper shopping cart that they're using to push their PA system in. So we don't want to blame Price Chopper. Price Chopper's a good chain in our area. It's a shame that they're getting bad press by having those kids use their shopping cart in this.
Now, what do you think of the rally so far, the entertainment and the speakers?
Well, so far I'm very impressed with it. There was a lot of people here. I actually got here very early, coincidentally, and there were people out here as early as 1:45. Not a large group, but there was probably a handful of people at 1:45, and it's slowly grown.
They say about 300 right now.
Yeah, I would say there's probably 350 here right now. They've been very orderly. They started out with a prayer, and they started out by Pledge to Allegiance, and then they sang the anthem. I also would like to note that the crowd that was across the street did not have enough common sense or respect to the United States of America to stop what they were doing, uncover their heads, and place their hand on their heart.
Yeah, I noticed that myself. It's kind of interesting. Now, where can people, a shameless plug time, where can people find me and you on the radio?
Well, Peter, you and I are on WCRN, which is AM 830, and we are 50,000 watts of True Talk power right out here of Worcester, as they've been kidding us. When I first moved up here, I called it Worcester, because that's how it's spelled, but it's supposed to be Worcester, I believe, but anyway, we're right here in Worcester at 82 Franklin Street, and we're on Saturday night, and we have a great show. We discuss issues. We have also been interviewing candidates, obviously, and this coming Saturday night, we're going to have a kind of a wrap-up as to what happened and what transpires tomorrow. And also, we're going to be covering live tomorrow night. We have a lot of reporters out, and we're going to be going out to a lot of campaigns and covering those races.
Yeah, I'll be at the Bill Gunn campaign myself.
Yep, and I'll be covering Marty Lamb, Jim McKenna, and Tom Wesley. So I'll be a busy guy.
So we'll see you and hear from you tomorrow night and on Saturday from 7 to 9. WCRN.